Another question is, how do you sustain self-drive to continuously volunteering as you learn a skill? From your experience, Bola, how have you sustained self-drive? Or what is the rule of passion? Do you really what do you think is the rule of passion in developing value, if I may put it that way? You just saw a seeker there with his beautiful yes. Over to you, Stephen Bola.
All right, sir. Thank you for that, sir. I'll start from the point of you made mention of something earlier on, like the fact that someone that stays at home and gets fed, like the person doesn't really do as much as the person that is outside that doesn't get the privileges that you have. So what I see then in maintaining passion, in maintaining the other self-discovery, having that drive, I've come to realize that for every man to get to that point whereby he is able to ascertain his passion, is able to work with his passion, he definitely have to move away from his comfort zone. And that's him moving to his junior zone, whereby fine, it's gonna be tough. And one of his proof, like, it's just like the story of David in the Bible. Like, right. Yeah, he went to the forest, he was killing bears, he was killing lions. He went there, although the environment was not, he could have stayed in his father's house, he could have enjoyed everything, but he went there. He went there with a mindset that he wants to go and do something. When he got there, the place was not favorable. He was able to conquer it, and from there, he was able to find who he was, which eventually made him the king, which eventually made me strong to fight for battles and everything. And that's how I see how men are right now. Like men, like we ourselves, if we are in that comfort zone whereby we get fed, our parents gives us the food. Personally, that's one of the reasons that, although I'm still in my school level, I'm still in university, but one of the reasons why I can't stay at home is not because I don't like my parents or I don't enjoy their company, but it's because I know that anytime I step foot into that, I start to think less. Like I don't think about I don't think for myself. Like I ought to, not their fault, but because I realize that if you are being given everything, you will not get to think for yourself. There are some things that, like, if you are like, there's this joke I used to have with my friends.
I like that point you are bringing up, Stephen, because it's a very, very important point. We when I say we, especially Africans, we all grew up here. I grew up here. I was born in a village, like many of us. The attitude of expecting others to do things for us is an attitude that seems to have really eaten deep into our system. So what you are explaining here is very, very important. And I had to interrupt because you're talking about how to build a resilient mindset through adversity. That adversity forms you to be stronger. That adversity makes you very, very resilient. That even when you face a challenge, you struggle, that struggle is molding you to be able to navigate through other challenges to build a self. Please continue. This is really interesting.
You actually summarized the joke I was about to reference to, like the fact that my friend, this joke about this thing that at least if you're not at home, if you're in school and we don't disturb our parents or we don't tell them we're hungry, and the hunger reaches a certain point, you start to think for yourself. Then you find a way to make things happen, and at that point in time whereby through good means, and you should, I have to emphasize that, like, it's important that whatever you do it out of a pure and a sincere heart. Don't do anything bad. So, but at that point in time that you realize that you thinking for yourself, you going through that point of hunger, you going through that point of pain. If the moment you overcome it, any circumstance, anything that wants to come towards you, you just have this mindset of, if I could go through that, and you find your focus, because at that point in time, you get to realize what hurts you the most. Like personally, I going through life personally, I went through some sad things growing up, like in terms of families, everything, and I realized that one of the things that burdens me the most, that makes me unhappy, is me seeing another set of people on the road. Like, take for example, when you're going through the street, you see people struggling, suffering, some people not being able to make ends meet for themselves, and all these things will not. All these things will not come to mind when if you are still stuck in where at that point whereby everything is like your mind is not thinking. The one of the most important okay, one of the most important factor, one of the most important element that I think I believe that humans have is their mind. If their mind are not being put to work, if their mind are not being exercised, you get to a point whereby you just be complacent, whereby you have no vision, no passion, no purpose, because at that point, and those point in time doesn't, those point in time will remain like that if you remain in your comfort zone. So you want to move to your genius zone, whereby it's the zone whereby you go through those experience, you go through those process. That's when you'll be able to break free and actually even discover your passion more, discover what you love, discover what you want to do, and you even develop that self-drive, because you know that yes, there's a goal, there's a point in which you want to reach. So
Wonderful. That's a very beautiful explanation. I think before I get to you, Isika, let's take a break. So, Isika, what would you say about purpose in the process of driving this transformational solutions process in innovative world?
Okay. I would say purpose fuels passion. Purpose fuels passion. Bolaji spoke rigorously and detailedly on passion. I will cite an example. I remember while I was starting out, I mean, that video should be when I was earning between 70,000 naira in a month. And then, was it 70 or 5,000? 5,000 naira. And then my passion then was to help 1 million youth in 2013. I wake up, I breathe that passion because it was a purpose, and then it was fueling that passion like a burning fire within me every day, and everything. Before I knew what was happening, I began to forget my core purpose. The passion.
So actually, when you got money, you started to lose.
The passion begins to gradually
disappear.
The goal of helping 1 million youth wasn't there anymore. And all that was focused was money. But I sat down and I told myself, why am I even here? Because then I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy. Yes, the more money I got, the more problem, the more unfulfilled I am. Then I begin to ask myself, what is actually the reason of my true existence? Then I went back to what I was, that purpose. And I wake up in the morning for with that same purpose. I wake up in the morning asking myself, this and this and this needs to be done in the Africa. No, the educational system needs to be reinvented. The will of the system, because this is not what is there. If what I pass through in the educational system is what my students, my children are going to pass through, then the percentage that they will become someone is very unrealistic. I spoke to someone, Jordan, in the US, and he said US pay as much as $60,000 for private university. And still yet, this educational system is still the same thing. It's not teaching them to become solution providers. They get out of school with lots of US debt, and then for 7 years, some of them can't even pay their student loan. And this is really a big issue. Then I said there needs to be someone that will solve it. So it's not just a problem of Africa now. It's a problem that exists in the world. So there needs to be a reinversion of this wheel. Then when I saw this problem, that passion, it begins to fuel in me. And this allow me build. Call day by day. Where are we at in the product? Are we launching? Reaching out to people. And we've had support, amazing support from people. Working in Google, such as the VP, Vice President at Google, support from people, Dr. Richard, and many more, even in the ecosystem, helping to build this product. And that is really it, because passion is truly your existence for life. And no matter how much you have, no matter how much you make, that passion will still be there. All the money which you made, you will begin to reinvest it. And before you know, with time, you begin to make more. And that is really how to sustain passion. That is really how to fuel the vision. You begin to think, what is my reason of existence? Now, what is lacking in the world? What else can I do to make the world a better place? And this is what humanitarian does. This is what we can do for humanity. And sincerely, this is just the least we can do. Everyone, I keep saying, no matter the small quota, no matter your little resources, there is something you can do to make a difference. And that very thing, do it when you can. Thank you so much.
There is something you can do to make a difference. And that is, these are very, I love the nuggets you guys are giving, because